From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big early morning here on LALATE with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats may actually be giving you more checks. Then we turn to the fourth stimulus recon that has your stimulus checks in there. And could there be other money in there as well for you? There is. We'll go over what's happening with this recon. Then we go to the voting process and why Jalopal is ensuring that it's done correctly and why that's important for you to understand. How it's done is more important than when it's done. Then we turn to fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall with another stimulus check for next year, and then a raising up of your benefits for a lifetime. Finally, the big money. As one viewer got $23,000 from this channel, it's your day to get this big money as well. Tens of thousands of dollars are being gotten by viewers of this channel. It's a big early mornings broadcast. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and let's get to the details, starting right now. How are you doing? Happy morning. Hope you're having a beautiful morning today. It's beautiful weather here in Santa Monica this morning. The onshore breeze is perfect. The sun is slowly coming out, and it's just a gorgeous day. How's the weather where you are? Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, we'll be going over first the monthly checks and why the Democrats may actually be giving you more months. Then we turn to fourth stimulus recon and that how those Democrats are actually preparing to give you other monies on top of this checks. Wow. Then we turn also to the voting process and how Jalopal, Schumer, Pelosi, and the president have ensuring that the voting process is done the right way, because the wrong way could be trouble. And then we turn to fifth stimulus with another stimulus check for next year, raising your benefits up a lifetime. And then the big money as viewers get no less than $23,000 from this channel. You can get it as well. This is LALATE, America's only 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. I'm next back with you with Mornings LALATE, live on air at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Currently airing on this channel is Overnight's Crypto, which this video will take you automatically to, and then Noontime LA at 11 a.m. live after Morning's Crypto, also live. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps. It also delivers popcorn. And consider becoming a member. Let's get right to that monthly stimulus check and the wrinkle about maybe getting more checks. Very fascinating twist starting this early morning's broadcast. House bill, monthly stimulus checks for the remainder of the pandemic. Senate approach, monthly stimulus checks to July, December. Interesting. Let's go over the payouts. So the payouts are quite different as well. House, $1,000 after the first month of $2,000. Senate, monthly unknown, but word on the street is this. Oh, deliciousness. Now that's deliciousness. That's $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000 a person. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400 a person. Let's go back to the big surprise, which is this. A week ago today, we had been saying, well, the legislators may contend the pandemic's over. Well, that is no longer potentially the case. Warren Buffett said the pandemic's not over. LA County said the pandemic's not over. The airlines saying now the pandemic's not over. So the pandemic may not be considered over for legislative purposes, which would give you more than 12 months of checks, which would be more than $13,000. Compare that to this and the Senate over 6 months. I think I have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House of Senate. House of Senate, tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Vote right now, House of Senate. Boy, things are changing by the minute on this channel. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? The Democrats represent they're going to give a fourth stimulus check to everyone who got a third stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 less. Democrats represent they're going to give you a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 less. Democrats represent they're going to give you a fourth stimulus check. Just double it. Family of four, Democrats represent they're going to give you a fourth stimulus check. Just quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, Democrats represent they're going to give you a fourth stimulus check And there you go. The fourth stimulus check would come as not income, so it's not taxable. Fourth stimulus check would be the same amount for everyone across the board. Great news there. And the fourth stimulus check would be monthly. It would not come in waves. So if you do see the check at the local Starbucks this morning, getting the half cap cappuccino, and you turn to the check and say, "Hey, check, is that a cappuccino or cowpuccino? Did you watch Sirloin last night?" Didn't respond back. Rude check. How can you not like sirloin? It's not a rude check. It doesn't know what you're talking about. Not a viewer, huh? Yeah, subscribe. So there you go. The fourth stimulus check would come in every month. The Democrats represent they can get you a fourth stimulus check in the month of July for the month of July, with or without a cappuccino in the month of August for the month of August. And they can still get you a fourth stimulus check in July with a vote in July. So that's coming up later in this video. But in the second part of this video, we will going over the two-path process, the recon and the bipartisan, and why fourth stimulus may be giving you more money. In fact, it is. On top of stimulus checks. Wow, that's getting exciting. And then the third part of this video, we go over the actual voting process. Get ready for that big update at the very end of this video. But first, here's a preview of the second half. Fifth stimulus raises up your benefits and also gives you another stimulus check. Wow. Of more details you can hear for the first time on this early morning's broadcast about that stimulus check. But first, let's get some money. Get that pen and paper ready. If it must be a Crayola crown. This is black. It's not muddle black. I'm going to go over all the details you need to know to understand how you get this big money. And that's what I do on this channel, and I have to congratulate you. You've been doing such a great job. Jump in the live chat right now and post in the live chat any rent you got, any utilities, any SNAP, any internet you got, because it inspires me, inspires everyone else. If you haven't seen what's been going on the last 7 days, let me tell you. Nisi has revealed she got $23,000 from this channel. Rent, utilities, internet, and also SNAP. Art has gotten 3 items. Rent, utilities, and SNAP. John got $12,000 for SNAP for his family of 4. We have viewers getting $10,000 to $12,000 daily for rent. We have viewers getting $3,000 for utilities. And we have viewers getting $6,000 to $7,000 regularly for SNAP. What's going on? This is what I do on this channel. I get people money. This is not the check tracking channel. We're not calendar checking or following, Dora the Explorer is not on this channel. What we're doing is we're cashing checks. It's much like December 2020 when we were waiting for second stimulus to pass. It was Christmas. People needed money, and second stimulus was not yet passing. So I stepped up and I got viewers $250,000 of rent. I got viewers like Tyrone $15,000 for rent. It paid all his bills for that and more into nearly March. So go get it and continue to get it. And I got viewers $25 million for EIDL loans last year to save their business, their homes, and also their employees' homes. Get that pen and paper ready. Let's go over all the details. I'm going to get you rent, utilities, internet, and also homeowners utilities. Each place has different eligibility. So if one says no, reach out to the next. They all also have their own pots of money. Are you ready? You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. The keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Rent assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's wonderful obsession with cows. He's a sirloin fan? I did not know that. No, it's just, they don't know that. I don't know that. I don't want to know that. So don't bring that up. So there you go. Congratulations. This is Tim and Linda who got this wonderful money. The next pile of money is wonderful. And it's SNAP. John got it, $12,000 for his family of 4. Congratulations, John. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom, and Gail got as well. What is it? It's SNAP. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Reach out to Department of Agriculture and get this big money. How much does it pay? What is it for? It's for food. How much does it pay? $16,000 for family of 4 out of Hawaii. Wow, why so much money? Because of 2 executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. You're killing it. $16,000 for SNAP for a family of 4 out of Hawaii. $5,000 for rent approximately. And we're only 10 minutes in this video. Oh, you're killing it. I'm killing it. The check, you're really not killing it on that breakfast buffet. But let's get some big other money right now, and it's the money coming back from your states. The federal government has ordered states to return money back to you that they initially paid you due to computer error. And the federal government said, it's your money to keep. So let's go over when, where, and how you get the details. First, where is it going to land? A direct deposit to the account you have on file with your state's unemployment department. When? Reach out to your unemployment state, reach out to your state's unemployment department and ask them, where is that check due to computer error that you initially paid me that's supposed to come back to me? And have them track it. Ask them to track it and say, hi, can you also track it with a computer that actually works this time? And finally, the last wonderful money is the money coming back from IRS. This is the refund of your 2020 taxes you paid. Ka got it, Margaret got it, Michael got it. Let's go over how much it is starting right now. First, let's say you have $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You pay $4,000 of taxes, $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit. When, or otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov, do a user search and put in your name, social security number, and do a transcript search. 70% of the time it works. It'll reveal the tax. It'll reveal stuff that, you knew, and then some stuff you never knew, but now you wish you never did know. It'll reveal the taxes in your file, the taxes you paid. It'll reveal, really, what is Mitch's inspiration for his mixtape coming out? It'll reveal Mitch's mixtape track list. And I've seen some of your comments. You already have some song lists that you inspire for Mitch. No Stimwall loss for you. and similar songs. And finally, we'll reveal the tax return check you're getting. Wow. Can we top that? Yes. As we go into the second massive fourth stimulus check updated 2021, part 2, starting right now. We're in such a better position now than we were 2 Wednesdays ago. 2 Wednesdays ago, recon was split from bipartisan. What was it before then? Before Tuesday, 2 Wednesdays ago, there was a massive recon that had your stimulus in there and had roads and bridges and bridges and roads. It was such a massive stimulus that the GOP and the Democrats have now both agreed that it would never have passed, meaning that if you had called it for a vote, there would not have been enough votes. It would have died. There is no redo-overs in stimulus. There's no mulligans in politics. Once you call the vote and it doesn't pass, it's dead. It's done. So what happened? Well, Leader Schumer, Speaker Pelosi, the president met day in, day out, every single day for several weeks, 3 weeks no less, to determine how to get the recon smaller. And finally, they decided take roads and bridges out of the recon and separate it into a bipartisan agreement, what I call the split day, which was 2 Wednesdays ago. And finally, that is what happened. They separated roads and bridges from the bipartisan, so that roads and bridges from the recon. So finally, the bipartisan was formed, which has only roads and bridges, and all your money stayed where it was in the recon. It's that split day of 2 Wednesdays ago that we suddenly had two paths, recon and bipartisan. Before that, we just had recon. Now we had recon and bipartisan as of 2 Wednesdays ago, bipartisan having roads and bridges. Now, here is what you need to know about that, is that there's 4 wonderful things that came from this. Number 1, by splitting them 2 Wednesdays ago, the recon now became passable. Meaning, had you called the vote before the split day of 2 Wednesdays ago, you would lose and not have enough votes, and the whole thing would be over. No money for anything, no money for anyone, and no money for any party. It would be over. Now that the split has occurred 2 Wednesdays ago, it is passable. In fact, this has actually been documented by both GOP and Democrats. Ironically, the GOP now says that they were set up. Here is an op-ed from a conservative publication the end of last week, which said basically what I just said to you as well. The higher the price tag was for the recon, the harder it was to pass. By allowing the Democrats to take out some items out of the recon and put it into the bipartisan, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller. That's pretty obvious. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon easier to pass. Yeah, sorry, Mitch, you're set up. I mean, it's just sort of obvious. It was very obvious. By creating the bipartisan, suddenly the recon became easy to pass. Here's what's also important is that the op-ed said there was nothing beneficial to the GOP to agreeing to the bipartisan because now it was giving the Democrats their recon as passable. Wow. So you see how big this is. You're going to see later in this video that Jalapal thought this was so big that Jalapal actually called a vote about how to deal with the split items before they were split. Wow, that's coming up in a second. Now, here was the second beneficial item of this. By taking roads and bridges out of the recon, it made the recon smaller. There was a movie about this. Did you see it? It was starring Rick Moranis. It was called Honey, I Shrunk the Recon. Suddenly, the recon was shrunk dramatically after roads and bridges was taken out. Roads and bridges are very expensive. So what are progressives now doing? They're adding stuff back in to the recon. Now, one of the questions I got overnight was a viewer said, well, wait a second, I thought it was too big. Why are they making it big again? They don't want too big. Understand, these progressive policies they add back in are not very expensive. It's roads and bridges that are insanely expensive. These progressive things they're not that expensive. So that's why they're adding them in. And what are they adding in? More money for you. So what you need to know is that the recon is only left with checks for the American people, just checks of all types. Stimulus checks they represent, checks for seniors, checks for medicine, checks for adults, checks for children, checks for the climate, checks for electric vehicles, just checks for everything. And guess what progressives are saying? We're going to add some more stuff in there if we want to. And we can go as nicely as we want to go. Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat of Minnesota, progressive, says, we have a commitment that regardless of what happens with the bipartisan, Congress will give us a recon that goes as far as we want it to go. Wow. That's wonderful. And then Representative Richie Torres said that I refuse to vote for the bipartisan unless we have a nice large recon. Well, what is Representative Richie Torres doing? He's put into the recon housing stimulus. Housing stimulus? Never heard of housing stimulus. That's what's going on here, is that progressives are not going to tell you what they're putting in there till we actually see it at the very finish line. They can make representations to us. Viewers ask me 1,000 questions. What type of housing stimulus? I don't know. I've never heard this. When they're working on this legislation, they have no constitutional authority, the constitutional requirement that they have to disclose you everything they're doing every step of the way. And they're not. And so suddenly this is getting very delicious. The Progressive Caucus has met with the president reportedly daily to ensure the recon goes as big as it needs to go. The third great benefit of this is that the recon is getting incredibly protected by Jalapal. Now, here's something you need to understand, even though it's relatively obvious. The recon is written by Democrats, for a Democratic vote. The GOP has nothing to do with the recon. They're not drafting it. They have nothing to say with its creation. They're not overseeing the subcommittees. They're not looking at anything with the recon. They don't want anything. They don't want the recon to pass. So what did Jalapal say before the split? Well, Jalapal said the president had thanked her for really protecting the recon. Now we know why he's asking her to protect the recon, because it's just progressive policies in there. And then Representative Brian Schatz, Democrat of Hawaii, said the White House has repeatedly told him that the progressive priorities in the recon are the White House's own priorities. Well, obviously, that is their wonderful news. Can we top that? Yes. As Jalapal written the president a letter about 2 weeks, written Schumer a letter about 2 weeks ago saying, chuck all the vote. The letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who were among the 100-plus House Democrats who had written the president a letter weeks earlier saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Can we top that news? Yes. As 7 House members of the House Ways and Means Committee wrote the president a letter over a week ago saying, we're going to be putting fourth stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus recon. Well, who are these people? They're on the House subcommittee called the House Ways and Means Subcommittee that's solely and exclusively responsible for writing fourth stimulus recon. They claim they're doing fourth stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus recon. They're also responsible for doing fifth stimulus recon this fall, and they say they're putting fifth stimulus recon checks in there as well. And they did third stimulus recon earlier this year and put your third stimulus recon checks in there, which you eventually got. They also will first and second stimulus checks. Wow, can we top that? We can, as the president has anchored fourth stimulus recon to the edge of the finish line with an international agreement about corporate taxes. Now, this one is sort of like, you want to smirk about this one. This one's sort of funny. The president had said, I need to raise corporate taxes to pay for roads and bridges. Well, now that At the time, the roads and bridges were in the recon. Now that the roads and bridges are not in the recon, they're in their own path. How is he paying for the recon? With corporate taxes? Yeah, he's still paying for corporate recon for corporate taxes, even though he's trying to use corporate taxes to pay for climate and good air. And your checks? Yeah, that's how politics works. Mitch, you're so set up. So here we go. What you need to know is the president had said he was worried about raising corporate taxes because business may move overseas when corporate taxes are higher or lower. So he reached out to those countries overseas, said, get it up. So those countries said, yeah, okay. So the president reached out to his staff and said, staff, can we meet these countries in December? Bring them some of Dr. Jill's potpourri. And the staff said, sure, Mr. President, but we can bring potpourri in June. It's Europe. They do things differently. They watch the Tour de France. We don't, unless you have, enhanced cable. It's not on basic cable. It should be on basic cable. Can you put it on basic cable? I want to watch it. Yeah. So there you go. And so what did he do? He got that provision anchored to the finish line. 3 weeks ago, he went overseas and got those countries to sign on the dotted line, which now anchors forth a stimulus to the edge of the finish line, because now it's easier to pass for stimulus recon, because provisions about international corporate taxes are not needed in the for stimulus recon, which is written by Democrats to be passed for recon. It's in the international agreement, making it easier to pass for stimulus recon, making it easier to draft it, and making it easier to get for stimulus recon over the finish line. Wow, can we top that? As we can. As we go into the third and big finale of forced stimulus coming up after this commercial break. But first is fifth stimulus and also the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, internet, or SNAP, reach out to the volunteers. If you watch this video and say, I try to get that rent, and it's frustrating because people are getting $10,000. I haven't gotten anything. I want that money. I need that money. I understand I'm not tracking checks. I'm cashing checks, but I need help. Then reach out to the volunteers. They are viewers just like you. They're salt of the earth. Open the description of this video. Go down the description. You'll see an emoji of a house. Next to that emoji of a house is a link to the community page, news.lalate.com/community. On the community page, you can find the volunteers. They're separated from Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. They can help you with that rent, utilities, internet, SNAP, but they cannot take you to Taco Tuesday. They cannot make you an enchilada. They cannot give you ingredients for $12 ice cream, but they can do just about everything else. And here's a little bit about them. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. The toast is toast and the butter is butter. And I'm here, you're here, and it's a beautiful early morning's broadcast from Santa Monica directly. How are you? Hope you're having a beautiful morning. Jump in the live chat, tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In the second part of this video, we'll go over the big exciting details about fourth stimulus and the vote. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up across the board with another stimulus check and new details about that check on this morning's broadcast. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. I want you part of this family. Subscribe right now. Also, like this video. Every like helps in the algorithm ranking. It also delivers cream of wheat. and a side of bananas. And consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the channel, the pinned and in the pinned comment. Stay on this video. It'll automatically take you into overnight's crypto, currently airing live on the channel. Next up after that is morning's LALATE. Let's turn to that fifth stimulus. Some surprising details about that fifth stimulus check starting right now. Number one, viewers asked me overnight, does the fifth stimulus check seem to overlap with the fourth to you? No. I mean, these people who are in the recon team of the House Subcommittee of Ways and Means, they write recons, and they're the same people writing the third recon, the fourth recon, and the fifth recon. So they know what they're writing. They know the dates will not overlap. But they got to start the legislation. And so starting the legislation certainly starts in fall, goes to a vote around November, December. Number two, the president has dedicated $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure your stimulus checks go out on time, or any benefits. This is third, fourth, fifth, and also your monthly benefits checks. Next, if you're missing a first, second, or third stimulus check, you must file a tax return and on that tax return, request the check at a particular line that appears on the tax return. If you haven't done both of those two things, file the tax return and request it in a line on the return, you have to go to a tax preparer. Which brings us to fifth stimulus and its big finale in this early morning's broadcast. Well, the financial markets were closed yesterday, but today we will see more details of where inflationary thoughts are headed. But last Friday, the new jobs number was released. It surged up, showing inflation. A lot of job creation, beating Wall Street estimates. Inflation up, hot number. Wednesday, lumber plummeting, down 40%, biggest drop in 1 year. This suggests that inflation's kicking in. Number three, consumer price index, producer price index, both very hot numbers in the days before. Finally, Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, said that inflation is going up and it's going to reach its highest price point in December. This is huge. This is wonderful news for us because this means that when they apply your benchmark, that inflation rate is going to be high. Let's go over how this SSI and SSDI reform works starting right now. First, they'll raise your benefits up. They'll remove the asset limit, add the inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over how this works with this calculation. First, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, or survivor benefits. Also, multiple benefits. They're going to then apply the benchmark. You understand the benchmark's applied in December for next year, number one. Number two, you understand the benchmark will now be inflation. Number three, you understand inflation is going up. Number four, you understand that the inflation will reach its highest price point in December. So how high is the inflation rate going to be? This is wonderful news. Let's use what Wall Street's thinking at the moment, maybe 10%. That would mean you raise your benefits up and then apply it and add an additional 10%. And that would not just be for next year. That would be lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. Wow. Then if the inflation rate the year after that is 1%, then you'll be a +1 plus 10%. This is incredible, great news. Next, they're going to remove the asset limit. The asset limit is dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you'll be able to have a stimulus check and some tacos in that hand. They're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. Now you'll be able to work and also receive a stimulus check. Receive benefits. And finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You will no longer fear loss of benefits. And viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear the marriage penalty. Remember, the ending of the marriage penalty would not do retroactive benefits, but it would restore benefits to the date at which it is eradicated. There you go. So that's fifth stimulus. But if you're in the live chat, you notice all these people getting all this big money from this channel, $5,000, $10,000, $12,000, $23,000, and you've tried to find it and you are having problems finding it. Well, also consider becoming a member if you don't even know what the money is. Because as a member, you're delivered all the details of all this big money for you under third stimulus. When third stimulus was passed, some people said, getting your $14 stimulus check. I said, you're going to be qualified for upwards of $14,000. and that became Purple Hawks. Hawk, hawk. You have to be a hawk and pounce and get this money because it was dedicated from the federal government for you. Why would you not get money that the federal government has dedicated for you and just focus on tracking a check? Why would you just track stimulus check after stimulus check when the federal government has dedicated thousands of dollars for you to have under third stimulus? Earlier in this video, we went over fourth stimulus and the other monies they want to give you. These are all application based. You have to go get them. But to know what they are, consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the channel, pinned comment. It also says on the video, hit that button, join, where you can join and become a Purple Hawk. That emoji of purple hawks are next to members in the live chat. All right, with that, let's cut back now to the big finale of your fourth stimulus check of 2021 starting right now. Well, it's getting exciting because finally, the recon is in a position to be called for a vote the correct way. Here's what you need to know. Number one, you cannot call anything for a vote if it will not pass, because if it does not pass, because you're calling it for a vote the wrong way, you do not have a do-over option. You cannot say, okay, can we try that again? No, you can't. That's it. You're done. Everyone go home. No one got any money. You called the vote the wrong way. It's imperative you call the vote the right way. Number one. Number two, Jalapal thinks that this is so critical, how they call the vote, not when they call the vote, that she actually slipped up and revealed that she polled her Democratic caucus about how to call the vote on the split items before they were split. Yeah. Jalapal asked her Democratic and Progressive caucus to vote on how they think they should. I polled her caucus to respond how they think they should vote on the bipartisan and the recon before they were ever even split apart. Wow, that shows how serious they think this situation is. We did a poll of our members, and the overwhelming majority of our caucus said they're not going to vote on the bipartisan without the recon vote first. And that poll was done before the two items were split. These people show that, one, they're plotting this out beautifully. Two, they're not leaving anything unturned. And number three, it's important. It's important to do it right, not when. You get Zippo, you chase a date, you do it the right way, you get everything. And Nancy Pelosi had a statement ready the day after the split occurred, showing her thoughts about how important it was. This is Nancy, your hero in 2021, your villain in 2020. There ain't going to be no bipartisan vote unless we have a recon bill vote. She goes on. Very emphatic. And I said there won't be a bipartisan bill vote unless we have a recon bill vote. Plain and simple. In fact, I use the word ain't. There ain't going to be a bipartisan bill vote unless we have a recon bill passed by the United States Senate. Done. What's at issue here? Now that the two items are split and the recon is smaller and is now passable, you still have to call the vote the right way. You call the vote the wrong way, the recon will not pass. What's the wrong way? Calling the recon for a vote after the bipartisan. If you call it after the bipartisan, the recon dies, it never gets passed, no one gets anything. The bill is over. Who says this? Both the GOP and the Democrats. There's only two ways to pass the recon. Either way works, calling the recon for a vote before the bipartisan or calling the vote concurrently. And here's what you need to know is that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have already said they're going to do that. So no worries about that. Number two, it's important to know what they're doing. What are these legislators doing this week? So the House Ways and Means Committee, subcommittee that is responsible for writing fourth stimulus recon, and claim that they're putting monthly stimulus checks in there, and are the only committee responsible for stimulus checks, said before the 3-day weekend that they are in town all this week in subcommittee meetings working on the recon. House Budget Committee, subcommittee said the same thing. Here's what you need to know. Congress is a big building, has a lot of rooms. Those rooms are for senators. They also have House floor, Senate floor. They also have the subcommittee rooms. Well, these members have made very clear before the 3-day weekend, they're in town and they're working on the fourth stimulus recon this week in the subcommittees. What's important for you to understand is that Chuck Schumer normally has House subcommittee and Senate subcommittees work hand in hand because they're the same party, with the House taking the lead. This path will be different than first, second, and third stimulus, as I've said about a week ago, but I haven't said it recently. It will start in the Senate, then go to the House, then go to the president. It will not go the reverse. Usually it goes House, Senate, then president. So it will not start with a vote-a-rama. I've seen some questions saying, what day are they starting the vote-a-rama? It will not start with a vote-a-rama because it's starting on the Senate side. There's nothing to amend. But it'll come with that Senate vote first. Next, the House subcommittees don't have a constitutional requirement to be transparent to you. So I know a lot of people want to see and hear and know every single thing that a House subcommittee is doing. They don't have a constitutional requirement to tell you everything they're doing. And sometimes they just do it and it's done and you find out after the fact. So you don't know what they're writing or know what they're voting on sometimes until it's after it's done. Number 3, in session, I expect to be the real return of 2020 July fake narratives. In July 2020, the fake narrative was if nothing's in session, everyone is on another planet in the Milky Way galaxy. It's just crazy. Here's what in session means. In session is referring to the floor room where they vote and the House room where they vote. If they're not in session, the doors are closed. And if the doors are closed, where are the senators, the House members? They're down the hall in their offices or in subcommittees, as they just told us early in this video. But what conservative fake media said in 2020 was that when they weren't in session, they were off in Tahiti. I mean, it was wacko. So be prepared for that. Here's what you also need to know. To call the vote, Nancy, Chuck, the president, all have constitutional authority to do it just like that and put it back into session. So if they're ready to call the vote, and to put something back in session, they can do it in 10 seconds. And guess what? The people who are voting are not 500 hours away. They're down the hallway. So there you go. Finally, it's important to note that you cannot, absolutely cannot be obsessed with the word when. When. You cannot be obsessed with the word when, because that will trip you up, and Mitch will trip you up. Wondering when is negating all the cautiousness that Jalapal's doing for you to ensure how. It has to be done the right way. If you do it incorrectly on the right or wrong day, you get nothing. And what's important to understand is that you have to continue to push. Donut language like when am I getting it? When is it in my hand? When am I receiving it? When am I getting it? How am I getting it? It's all donut language. We don't do this on the channel. We don't track checks. We cash checks. That's why rent, utilities, SNAP, and all this money is very important, because this feels a lot like December 2020 when we were waiting for second stimulus to pass. So go get that big money. Also, Purple Power needs to continue to push. I haven't said that enough lately. Purple Power, you need to push. Here's what you want as an example. I had said to viewers, pick up the phone and call your Democratic senator and express to them professionally why you need a stimulus check. Think in your mind, why do I need multiple stimulus checks? Why does my community? Why does my city? Why does my family? Think out why you want to say it. What is the conversation going to be? You want to call them up and say, I want to express my opinion as one of your residents of your states, why I need monthly stimulus checks. Because this is what happened to me. Explain the situation. And that's what WR did 2 weeks ago on noontime in the live chat. He called up his Democratic senator, Senator Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's closest confidant, said professionally what he wants, what he needed. And at the end of the conversation, the secretary said Senator Coons is already writing up multiple stimulus checks in the Senate proposal. So there you go. Here is what you absolutely do not do. I've seen 1 or 2 comments from some people floating through this channel. They're not subscribers, they're not members. I called up my senator. They said, I don't know what, they never heard about stimulus checks. What are you doing? You are not supposed to be calling people up and asking them, where's my money? You think senators like that? Where's my money? Where's my check? When am I getting my check? Don't do that. Don't do that. They don't want to hear that. You're not supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be pushing. Pushing is not asking for money like a donut guy. So be professional and express their opinion, because they want your input. They want to hear why it's important and say things that are clearly unique to yourself. Also go on social media, tag your elected officials, hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power, tag Democrats, tag Democratic senators, tag Jolapal, tag your caucus, tag the caucus leader of the Progressives and his co-chair. Make your message very clear and professional. And keep on pushing, because down to the finish line, every push is important, and every push is there. And with that, I look forward to seeing you next on Overnight's Crypto. Stay on this video. It'll automatically take you there. Overnight's Crypto is currently playing live on air on the channel. Stay on this video. It'll automatically take you in there. And then I'm next live with you on Mornings LA at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member so that you get delivered daily all the big money that's in third stores for you to get as well. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LALATE.